is everyone realizes that this was an impossible situation. And what we have to do now is just try and find out if this war now was such an impossible situation as that one was.
It was basically similar because Hitler started off the same way. He just wanted a little bit of territory in Europe, and Saddam said he only wants a little bit of territory. You know, then he'll want more.
And permit that war should not be, should not be allowed. That this new cooperation between leaders should make sure that problems like this can be solved in other ways, or at least effectively. I mean, it wasn't until late January that people started meeting, right? And if this new international order means that only people can cooperate to kill or to apply a war.
But then there's the question, when
You'd like to have sanctions longer term.
Sure, well, I mean, sanctions have worked in South Africa. They have.
No, they haven't.
No, they haven't.
Change it, guys. No, we're not.
Peace wasn't given enough time, but really there is only one thing peacefully that you can do, and that's to ask Iraq to unconditionally withdraw from Kuwait. I mean, you can't bargain this, you can't buy, you can't bribe for it. You just have to get out. There's nothing else to be done. It takes peaceful solutions require peaceful people. They require cooperation from the two parties. And Saddam just doesn't want to cooperate. He rejected every single deal that had anything to do with him getting out of Kuwait.
6 months to pull out of Kuwait.
And
Because how can you call a negotiation or a peace initiative when Bush says we're coming in but there's no negotiations? So both sides were being equally stubborn about it.
Right, and the way that the U.S. Treated Iraqis in the first place, like they really insulted the pride of the Iraqis. Iraqis are proud people who are used to war, they're used to conflicts with other nations. So this big superpower says, we have muscles and we're flexing them, and you better listen to us, we've got something that we want you to do. And Iraqis aren't going to say, all right, they've been fighting for many, many years, and that,
Why we're at war. Nobody seems to know why we're at war. And I think the general population, I mean, the government would have people like us, people in the army and the general population believe that we're at war for the greater good. But that's just not true, because it's so obvious that we are going in to protect our own, the price of super unleaded, right? I mean, if we weren't, we would be in the Soviet Union trying to free Latvia, Lithuania. Those people are being slaughtered because the Soviet Union decided to go in and won't let them go. They won't let Latvia, Lithuania go. Saddam Hussein and Iraq won't let Kuwait go. What's the difference? The only difference is that there's oil in Iraq that we want, and that is why we're at war.
it's like a case of blood for us, then what's going to happen? When we wait 5 years from now, when Iraq has a nuclear weapon, threatens to blow up Riyadh,
and all the
the Saudis kick out the Americans,
Yeah.
Iraq takes over half of the world's oil supplies, jacks the price up to the ceiling, and plunges this entire world into a depression that we'll never recover
So
from.
right now, Iraq is destroying all refineries itself, and we're blowing up nuclear reactors, which is doing the same damage to the environment that a nuclear explosion would do.
The same thing that happened in Korea. UN approved military action to go in and kick the North Koreans out of South Korea. Same thing.
Yes, see, that's one thing I can't understand is the UN.
The UN is
United Nations.
The Soviet Union would receive $6.4 billion the day after they said, okay, we'll vote for this. And they didn't tell you that Colombia would receive $60 million the day in aid the day after they agreed to sign the bill.
And perhaps we don't like it.
Would anybody else from the floor like to say something? These people we haven't heard from here?
I think that when people are against war, it means that they're for a peaceful resolution. So that's something that has to be underlined. And when you're going and arguing and shooting down certain opinions, probably take them in at first and attempt to understand them, because it's something that's
Girl in the back would like to say something.
I was just wondering, I was talking to a friend of mine, she's doing a debate on this issue, and she was saying that there was a UN resolution that says you can't bomb a certain place with a certain population. And I was just wondering, I think the population of Baghdad kind of exceeds that limit, so how can they be bombing?
What you're next and what you try not to bomb. I think there was 40 civilian deaths, that's reported by the Iraqis, in the bombing of Baghdad. And the fact that in the mean, the first night,
The one thing we have to remember here is that
I'm talking about the first night, okay? But what I'm saying is,
200,000 includes military personnel that were in like bases.
right,
and
but I think there was only
But they're all people, I mean.
Right,
I know, what I'm saying is, she's talking about a civilian population, okay? Just wait, just guys, listen, we gotta keep this down to a certain noise level, okay?
Military people.
Talking about the
here we've shot down 100 planes. We only have a few people.
Why don't they show evidence of it? Why don't they show evidence of it then? Keep the journalist crews in. Show evidence of it.
Yeah, well,
We don't know what anyone will do. I mean, the only thing we know is that a lot of people are going to die. That's the only thing.
we know that, and that alone is a reason to say, just wait a second, what is going on here? Why are we doing this?
What do you think's going to happen?
That's the point I have. At this point in history, how can we even conceive war when we have a nuclear capability? We have the capability not only to destroy the world, but if we use nuclear weapons, or even if they accidentally get hurt, then we've got the capability to destroy our environment. I mean, if you look at Chernobyl, I mean, everybody's horrified, and everybody's horrified at war, so why do we do it again?
Do you think
They won't be used, but they're all around the area, and it's a great potential for accidents and all sorts of things. There's a nuclear reactor that's already been blown up, right?
do you think the peace protests in major European and North American cities undermine the Allied cause?
I don't think so. I don't think you're betraying soldiers by saying stop the war. And one of the things that's really interesting is in Germany there is a huge anti-war demonstration because Germans know what war is. They know what it is, and so they say we don't like this, And people feel the need to say they don't like it, even if they know that.
I mean, on TV I see Greenpeace going around saying that stop the bombing of Iraq, but I don't see Greenpeace going around saying stop the rape of Kuwaiti women.
Well, Greenpeace is another thing anyway, I mean,
Greenpeace, another environment,
Newfoundlanders
that's what I'm
have had
saying, right?
experience with Greenpeace.
The only people I really saw going around saying stop the rape and torture of Kuwaiti civilians were Kuwaitis themselves.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
how many
see.
people are going to be raped when the United States and Canada go in?
I mean, they're destroying the economy in sales because with the money exchange, our money is so much more there. I mean, our economy, our press is not saying this, but it's happening right now.
Right now, any soldier is not allowed off the base unless specific reason, including to spend money.
Okay, there's a girl in the back who had a question.
Across Canada that are over there fighting or either have relatives over there and they get to each fight to go live there, and I was wondering about what they would have. So they have any idea allowed them to come back?
a military.
A minimum of 3 days, a maximum of 10 days, but I thought that was really optimistic. I think it's going to
Really?
6 months, around 6 months.
And even after the war, the soldiers going to have to stay in, right, for years.
Exactly, a 40-minute period or a 45, 55-minute period. Because of so many factors which are involved, that would be a good debate.
Students are getting their homework.
Lucy has opinions and she has facts and stuff. However, also you can talk about how Chernobyl was not a very good reactor. How the UN would probably never give a resolution allowing nuclear war. How conventional war is the way most things are gone now. And stuff like with the POWs, that picture of the POWs, I know which one you're talking about. That was a military photo when they were captured, like a little while after.
Okay, can I just ask the crowd if they would think this would be a good idea to have maybe again next week without a panel, just a moderator, James finally do her job or something, so that we can just all be on one level and just all voice, not even opinions, but there's a lot of clarification about the stuff that I don't understand and I'd like to know.
When the war's over, do you think the soldiers should be welcome back?